are hundreds, literally hundreds, of small grassroots organizations in New York. 101 towns have either enacted bans or moratoria. And each one of those towns has a grassroots organization that was the impetus for it. So those groups are working to stop gas drilling and hydrofracking. And we were wondering how your work can help us do it.
Well, as you know, I take pictures I try to make beautiful pictures of toxic waste to make people think about, because the dissonance created there makes people stop and think. I'm trying to get funding to, I want to have a traveling exhibit. And the pictures only work when people see them. I want those pictures to be in all of those, as a traveling exhibit in all of those small towns, so that people, because people don't, specifically talking about hydrofracking, people don't really understand the impacts. And let's face it, when you're someone who needs the money and the landman comes along and says, you know, here's $100,000. Boy, that sounds tempting. I mean, okay, let me think about this. Lose the family farm, because of course America doesn't value farmers, just like America doesn't value artists, it doesn't value farmers. And it's all our fault, by the way. Our demand for cheap. I want cheap. It's death. Because I want cheap translates into let's ship this job to where it can be done for cheaper. I want quality is what we should be saying. I want milk that I know is not loaded with growth hormones so that my daughter doesn't develop breasts at age 10. You know, that's what we need to be saying. I want quality. Am I willing to pay more for it? Yes. You know, but back to the fact that the family farmer who can't hold on to his farm because we're not willing to pay a decent price for his gallon of milk, back to him, and the landman comes along and says, hey, here's a check for $100,000. You can save your family farm. And he says, okay, I can have a drill rig for a couple of months and a bunch of compressor trucks, and then they're gone, or I can lose the farm. And he doesn't. So it's a Hobbesian choice for him. It's not even a realistic choice because he's going to lose that farm anyway because the water's going to be contaminated, and there's no way for him to afford to remediate it. The gas company, if they still want it, will be able to take the farm over from him, or he'll just walk away. If the gas company has already sucked out all the gas, they're gone. He's going to have a farm with polluted water underneath. Nobody wants that. I mean, we've already seen, this stuff's already happening. Mm-hmm. The banks won't lend money.
Exactly.
The banks won't give mortgage money on hydrofracked land. You're violating your mortgage by signing that lease. And no bank will ever lend you money to give you a mortgage or to operate your farm. So, you know, we need to get this information out there, and people, the reason I take pictures is because pictures reach people in a way that dialogue and words do not. So you can tell people 1,000 times about the drill rigs and, you know, piping all those chemicals underground and what it's going to do to his aquifer, but if you show them the pictures and then give them a few facts along with those pictures. And so that's what I want to do. I want to get these pictures in front of the people who need. These pictures need to be in the local community centers, need to be in the local libraries. As an artist, I have to figure out a way to do that.
Right.
Because as you can see, I've got a staff of 3 people that I've got to feed. I've got, you know, so why don't you write the Park Foundation and say, will you fund Henry Fair to, really? I mean, how else are we going to do this?
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
You write the park, get all of those damn community foundations to write the Park Foundation and say, we need you to fund this guy because he knows the deal and he's spreading the word and we need to get it out there. So, you know, environmental advocates, I love them. But they won't come out against hydrofracking. They're playing a safe game. No. Come out against hydrofracking. There's no safe way to do this. I'm a radical. I realize it. But it ain't safe. It ain't safe. Let me repeat that. It is not safe. There is no safe way to pump all these chemicals through the aquifer at millions of pounds per square inch to fracture the stone below the aquifer with all these sand and chemicals and then pump that gas back out. Oh, did we mention that it's radioactive down there in the Marcellus Shale layer? And you're pumping all that radioactive shards and other material out? No, nobody mentions that. anyway, there it is. So not only are you contaminating your water with benzene and everything else, it's being contaminated with radium, and there's nothing safe about this process. So the pictures, the information need to get in front of people. And, you know, we need to change our political process so that our legislators are not taking money from, you know, from Chesapeake Energy. And we need to change, you know, if you've got money invested, you need to look at where that money's invested. You know, are you invested in a fund that invests in, doesn't do much good to complain about something if all of a sudden you find that your investment dollars are in a fund that's supporting, you know, that's putting money in Chesapeake Energy's pocket so that he can continue to siphon money out of Chesapeake, and, you know.
That's a whole nother layer.
That's a whole nother layer, but you got to talk about that
Yes,
layer. It's a
certainly.
very real layer.
Certainly. Well,